Good morning, class. So today what we're going to do is continue our conversation about money. So our objective today is to identify the monetary values of coins and how these coins can be used to make $1. So just for a little refresher from last class, we talked about the types of money that we have in the United States. So we have paper bills, which include $1, $5, $10, and so on. And then we have coins, and these are little metal things you probably find in the middle of your couch. Got pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. And these things are measured in cents. So on your homework, we focused on what the values are of these coins. So if someone could raise their hand and tell me what a penny, a nickel, a dime, and a quarter equals, that would be great. Sure.
A penny is 1 cent, a nickel is 5, a dime is 10, and a quarter is 4.
Close. A quarter is actually 25, but I can see why you would mix that up, and it's going to be clear a little later on. So just going to put this up for you guys so you can have a visual representation of what each of these things look like. The penny is brown and small. Nickel is a little bigger and silver. The dime, which is confusing, is very small. It should be bigger because it's more than the nickel, but we can't argue that. And then we've got a quarter, which is 25 cents and also the biggest, so it's a little easier to remember. So what we're going to do today is focus on how we can take those cents and turn them into dollars. The most important thing to remember is that $1 equals 100 cents. So this might be a little tricky, but that's okay. So if 1 penny is 1 cent, then how many pennies do you need for $1? Yeah.
100.
Great. And we're going to keep going with this, and it might be a little hard, but I'll help you out if you need it. So if a nickel is 5 cents, how many nickels do you need for $1? Yeah, that's okay. It's a little harder. So the easiest way to do this is to kind of count it out by fives. And we've practiced this earlier on in the year. So we would go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And that's 10 right there, and we know that 100 is a double of 50, and so it's going to be 20 nickels. It's okay if you don't remember that right away. We're going to do some more practice with it later, and it can be a little confusing. And the next one should be a little bit easier. If a dime is 10 cents, then how many dimes do we need for $1?
10.
Wonderful. And last, which is where you guys got a little bit confused before, is how many quarters we need for $1. A quarter is 25 cents and $1 is 100 cents. So how many quarters do we need?
4.
Great. An easy way to remember this is that a quarter is actually 1/4. It's okay if you don't remember that, but it's an easy way to remember that it's 4 quarters to $1. Wonderful. So what we're going to do now is some partner work just so that you guys can practice with this. So what I want you to do is turn to the person sitting next to you, and they're going to be your partner. In a moment, I'm going to hand out 100 pennies, 20 nickels, 10 dimes, and 4 quarters. And you guys are going to use those to make different combinations that equal $1. So, not the ones that we just had on the screen. So you can't use 100 pennies or 4 quarters, but you can use combinations of those things to see what you get. What I want you to do is to make sure that you and your partner agree that a combination equals $1, and then I want you to write down what that is on your piece of paper. Now I will be collecting this piece of paper at the end of class, so make sure that you put you and your partner's name at the top. When you're done, raise your hand and let me know, and I'll come look over your answers. But I'm also going to be walking around to check in on you guys and see if you guys need a little help with making the combinations. So feel free to ask me questions then as well. Great. Now that everyone is done, I'd like to hear what you guys have come up with. So if you guys could raise your hand and let me know some combinations that equal $1, that'd be great. Yeah.
2 quarters and 5 dimes.
Wonderful. So the 2 quarters are 25 cents each, and they become 50 cents. And then the 5 dimes are 10 cents each, and they also become 50 cents. And 50 plus 50 is 100, so that you get $1. Great job. All right, let's do a couple more, and I'm going to write them up on the board so that we can see how many different variations there are. So could I get one more answer, please?
1 quarter and 15 nickels.
Correct. It's very impressive. Okay. So clearly there are many different ways that we can come up with variations of coins to get a certain amount of money. And why this seems kind of, up in the air, it doesn't really make a lot of sense right now, it's going to make more sense in our next class because we're going to look at how we can use that money to buy goods, to buy food or candy or toys from the toy store, and that way you guys can understand why these things have certain values. So I'm going to hand out your homework assignment next. I'd really like to make sure that you guys complete this with your parents so they can figure out what you're doing and make sure that you understand what's going on in class. And please be ready to talk about it in the morning.